sure we're good to go. We have audio. Good. Okay. Everything is working. And we will dive into this real quick. Alright, we'll do game 1, which was the win. Okay. Game 1. I stacked. Okay, interesting. So we'll skim through this pretty quickly. Actually, let me make sure, in case someone does join the lobby itself, that I am available. Okay. So this is, I think you guys did a really good trade here, bot lane. I think this is really good how you guys position the lane, things like that, but you got to be really cognizant of what J4 could be doing. So early on is good trade stop. This is good, again, a good trade, but you got path behind really hard, and you got to understand where J4 can path and things like that. It's because of the new how this works. If he just takes this long elongated route, he can do that. And Taddy, you had a ward, and so you could have warded right here. So really, the best places to ward are, in my opinion, right here and right here. You should ward the tribe bushes. I guess that makes it so he can't come down river, but if you position the ward right here, you should be able to see him a little bit as well. You could also ward right here, and that way you've path. I guess that's probably the best ward. Obviously, that's a pretty big roam, but you do need to be cognizant of the pathing here. So there's a lot of different ways you could ward, but it's a J4. You should expect a level 3 rank, so you should have all wards down to protect it. And in this case, it's this here, and it's here. And then we saw him and we went in. I don't know, we just didn't see him in time. And here we either commit or we don't. I think in there's no reason to flash. Toddy, you need to flash right when his EQ combos comes down. Right there. You should be flashing just before that. I guess you traded there. That was really, really scuffed. Yeah, you got to know stuff that was really obvious that that's how that would play out. You got lucky that the combo, he didn't stay under tower. If he stays under tower there, I don't think he dies. You need to bait it out first. You need to play that slower. So you threaten, like you position. You threaten, like instead of diving immediately, what you do is you threaten dive. So you walk up here, wait for him to use abilities, then you dive after he uses his ability. You don't actually commit to the dive that early while he still has summoner or while he still has abilities rather. So you just committed too early to the dive. You need to position like you're going to dive, and then do it. Alternatively, you call Briar over and do the dive together. So I think that you lost a little bit more than you needed to. You also had no reason to TP here. It's a really wasteful TP. You TP just, I assume, out of habit. But the wave's pushed in. What does a TP get you here? This wave won't end up freezing. it's going to push out so that you could have saved your TP right in this instance. And then you overextend and die. And see, so now you lose because you had used that TP as well. That he can crash this, and you lose a decent amount of. Oh, I guess he didn't get the crash. You got lucky; he didn't get the crash. But so you didn't lose that on as a cannon wave. But you just got to be aware of that. There's no reason to TP in the instance that you did. And then also, if we go back, there's also no reason to extend to take this fight. Like why are you playing so aggressive here? You have zero reason. The wave's pushing into you. There's zero, and I get like the logic is, oh, maybe I like win lane. I do this. This is a horrible position. There's no reason to throw the lane at this point. Which yes, you end up winning the lane more. It's a counter matchup, so you should. But there's just no reason to be in the position that you are at this point. It's really aggressive without understanding I don't know if it's the matchups or wave states, but the kill threat that he has on you, especially when you miss E and pre-6, he can kill you, especially if you miss your E and you don't have tentacles set up. And so I think your positioning here is there's no reason to be where you are. You die for actually no reason. You could just create a freeze if you wanted to. Instead, you die for free. Skim through. Gotta see this. Oh, that was awful. Okay. Okay. Another. Why are you contesting? They're grubs. Like, it's not a big deal. I get there's one of them. But look at where your lanes are. This is really just there's no reason that you're putting yourself in positions that, oh, if I make this crazy outplay, if I do this, maybe I can win and get this really big advantage. But this is like a 3% play here. We really should just give these grubs up, especially considering where your jungler is, where your mid laner is. There's not a lot of reason to contest here, and your wave state also wasn't great. This is going to naturally push, so you'll lose a ton here if you die, which I think you do, but maybe you get out. Oh, no, they commit. And then they rotate, your team rotates, which is good, but I don't know if they can get any. I mean, I wouldn't even contested that. So yeah, I think like if you look, you're losing a ton of minions to your own minions right now, and this is a really good opportunity for them to freeze, given he's low health. So I don't think he can, but you lost a ton for that. And if he's smart, I wouldn't auto if I am him. I don't think he's doing the right thing right now. He shouldn't be autoing. He should only auto to last hit. He should let everything naturally push into him because you lose more if he does that. But we just keep doing our thing. Let's fuse forward a little bit. Okay, he commits. That's fine. That's what you should be doing at this point now that you're 6. I think mid should be rotating over, or top should be rotating over. So allow things. Unfortunately, I mean the good thing is that the Jax wasn't super great, and so he kept fighting into Alawi, but he really shouldn't. Like, he had a huge lead due to mistakes made by Alawi. So like I said, I don't know if I mean, I get it. It's a plat game. But there's just some fights we took that we didn't need to. This is not a bad invade, depending on how your team rotates. Unfortunate that the Akali gets there first. I think that just needs to be communicated. Hey, who can be there first? Also, maybe asking the Alawi to come, though she's low health. and Vel'Koz has no mana. So that's one thing you need to communicate is on invades. Just make sure you're communicating with your team. You shouldn't invade unless your team has the priority to do so, or the ability. Priority is probably not the best one there. It's more availability in terms of spells, rotation, what they'll get, like all those different things. Here we just need to be. We need to realize, Taddy, you gotta realize that your support is level 5, and they just hit level 6. So you guys take a fight here. He dies because of your sins of overextending when they have a level advantage. That was good ult. All things considered, how sloppy it's been. I mean, we're down 5 kills, only down 1.5k gold, so that's nice. This one we kind of all just funnel die, so we rotate. We should bail. Like, the I know you're trying to go for this Akali here. Really, it should just be I'm walking out this direction right here. J4 shouldn't be able to engage on you. If he does, you just throw him back into the turret. But based on where your team is, you can't really go for this. But then we all funnel. We all do the same thing. Like we all one by one kind of go in, and we get an ult. Leave, 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 leave. So okay, flash, I guess. Still shouldn't have been there. We have a lot of top turret pressure, which is good. I don't think there's a huge reason to fight that. I think just give it, move to your top side, get prior. You can get these instead. I don't think ulting there did anything, even if you got a kill. This is really greedy back. Okay, we're on grubs. Trying to decide. I think if Alawi can if backs a little bit better timer and then TP's in, I think this is way better. Vel'Koz didn't have prio, which makes it hard to take those. Just kind of taking objectives without proper setup is really what we're doing there. We need to be a little bit more aware of taking the setting up before we take the objectives. You can't just solo queue it in comp. You have to have setup. You have to have your team. Oh, my team's available. Oh, my mid can roam. My support is here. Those type of things. We're skipping those steps. Good side step. Oh. I think an ult could have been used there, but that's okay. On Briar, right when J4 showed up. Okay, so here's my question. I mean, you get a kill, or they get a kill. Like you're choosing to stay when you don't need to. Like just you make these plays. You make a good play in terms of prio, things like that. Like you get a kill, all the different stuff. You have really good pressure, um, but you have this thing where you're like, oh, I can outplay this every time, which I mean is great, but it's understanding when that's the proper time to use it, and that's just not the. There's no reason to. This is good. This is good setup. This is what we like to see. We get the Drake. This is fine. Again, it's the same kind of thing is knowing when the fight's over. You don't have ult anymore. Why are we? Why do you keep going? Just back off. Just there's no reason to keep going. This is good. So this is a lot better in terms of I think some of it. I think the Alawi going in here is a little scary, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Call for Vel'Koz to be there a little sooner. You can fight this. This is a good ult. I think that's fine. And they overcommit for the Vel'Koz. You guys should double kill here, I think is what happens. I do think so in the bot lane. One thing I do notice, like I know you guys are playing, and you mentioned it something about it last night. You're playing hyperscaler, I get it, but you guys aren't like. There's fights where you guys have advantage. Like Kraken's really strong. Like you have an advantage if you take the right fights, and so I think it's something you guys need to be a little more aware of in lane. Is that there are times where you guys absolutely can fight and start to snowball. It's just about taking the right fights and things like that. And obviously, jungler was on bot lane a lot. That's something that we need to look at, but you guys had a couple opportunities to take fights that you just didn't, which is okay because you're just kind of scaling, but it does lead to a little bit more of a boring laning phase. Not saying take every fight, just for the record. Yeah, just a little too excited there. There's no R yet. Okay. Without knowing where J4 is on the map, I think you guys just go a little too deep, and they punish it. You can't walk up as Vel'Koz. I believe Briar's dead at that point. Sucks to give a shutdown over, but that's okay. Alawi's doing things that she should. I think this is good to collapse on the J4 like this. This is what you should do. Okay, you have a ton of pressure. This is good. But now it's about knowing, okay, when can I keep pushing and when do I need to back off? Oh, you got lucky. You guys get Drake. Good pressure top, like I said, is about knowing when to fight, when to take trades. You got to play that a little bit slower. J4 ends there for no reason. It's just a Cloud Soul. That was good. I think that was smart. I do think you could use your ult a little more frequently still. There are like you're right here. your R is up, like just shoot like a short little R. You'll hit one, you'll probably hit one of them. So I think that, and you get the fear off. I think she dies. So I think that's just a little thing to be aware of as well. As I think you were a little too trigger shy on the R. I know that Briar, like you got to try and pick your fights, especially in this comp. But I think that's one of the opportunities you could have used it a little bit better. Now we're gonna get started to the actual macro stuff, which is what I want to talk about mostly. There's a face check. We talked about that last night. There's no reason to face check that. I think it's fine to commit to this fight because it's a Lowy. I don't think anybody else you can commit. I think playing this, I think this was played decently. You get a lot of the kills here, especially with the resets. And you guys should just get Baron off that. So I do think Tadia is something that we've talked about in the past. I think talking to the ADC player that I have for you, it will be good. I think you stay too far out of fights sometimes until the fight looks good. I think you can get more damage off a lot of times if you position just a little bit, space a little bit better where you're in range, especially when you outrange their entire team composition. And they've burned spells and they're so focused on Alawi, I think you can be positioned a little more aggressive here. Okay, so you guys get Baron. This is good. You should all try and time your resets so you take them at the right times together. I think sending a Lowy bot lane is good. I would probably go mid here with the rest of the team. Top is open, so you can push mid. It has a lot of standing gold, and then rotate over and just get that for free. So far, this is fine. I'm okay with this play. It's here that's a little more like, oh. I think this is a good collapse, but you have to understand, like, you two are in such a hard position. You just kind of screw yourself there by walking up. You guys are a front to back team fight, so you can't be in a position where they, and I know it's J4, but you should be behind. Like in this fight, if you take this fight, you can't walk into range of that type of combo. Just positioning right here, it puts you in a really awkward spot where they can get on you guys, right? It gives them a free flank, even without the J4 coming in. Really, you guys either need to walk around the long way, or we can't take this fight. Those are the two ones to call. I think you can take this fight. I think doing this is good, but you two have to take the safer route in terms of this fight because the Briar's up 2 levels. Akali's there. Nautilus is obviously there. I think you guys can play it, but it's really hard when the positioning is like this because J4 gets the split like this. Your team can't get on you, and you have the carry, like 2 people who are just in perfect position to kill you. And then we dive. I think it's sometimes it's not just calling it and saying, "Oh crap, we threw that play." Okay, this really tilted me. Not gonna lie. Why ATP in here? I don't think there's any reason to TP. You should have backed off earlier. Understand the waves and everything like that. You have an empowered back. Like, just go to the bush like right now. Well, when you see when your team loses, at this point your team is lost. He's pushing still. You just walk to this bush and recall. Doing what you did wastes a precious summoner spell for Alawi to have that sideline pressure. So I think that was really poor to just TP like this. I think you needed to just back 5 seconds earlier. I was think chasing around like I think you're trying to zone. So what does chasing do? You lose a lot of XP. Like, you gotta understand, like, this isn't. I mean, it could turn to an advantageous fight, but we shouldn't really be chasing at this point. Where your team is and things like that, they're gonna have 4 people there, and you are a Lowy. They're all low health. But I think that you could have just gotten, and you lose a turret for it. So instead of contesting this, you could have just, yeah, and you die for free. Like, there's no reason to contest it. It's like one of those things. It's a Cloud Drake. It's their second soul. There's no reason to give a free shutdown over. Just play the waves, get your wave states back where you need to. You still had Baron at this point, and so you could have, at least I think you still had Baron. Am I crazy? Yeah, you still had Hand of Baron, so you could have been prepping these waves already and had prio in these lanes or pushed out these lanes. So there's a lot better things to do than try and 1v4 for no reason. Just because Alawi can doesn't mean she should. Still, it's only a 1k cold difference, so that's good. We also lost top lane, so we lost 2 turrets because Alawi decided to chase. Because we lost top lane turret and we lost a mid lane turret. That was unlucky that the Braum survived there. Oh. I think we just overextend a little bit. We get 2, so they have low health bars that we're not kind of like betting on stuff here, especially with how low we are. They have full vision of us too. We just got to be careful of that. Yeah, you got to fight here. They force you to fight. I don't know why he went back into you. So there's a weird fights. We're taking just kind of awkward fights, over chasing, things like that so far. I do think like some of the macro choices around, I mean, solo queuing really, instead of talking about it in team like, oh, hey, this is what we want to do. Like, I know I keep flaming, like, this is way too, like, you should not be dying this many times. In the top lane as a Lowy, like, you don't have to split pushing doesn't necessarily mean dying, right? This is really good. I really like this. You guys, this is a really, really good call. This is fine. This is a good fight so far. Jax isn't there, so this is a good knock up. Briar dies, but I think you guys just clean the rest of them up. TP Jinx is here, so there's one of those fights too where the one thing to be aware of is where your team is before the fight starts. This is good. This is good. Get another shutdown. Good. No reason to. I know you want to get this Drake. I think you don't start it though. You protect it because your team is taking it, and they have J4 up. So J4 is clearly going to try and steal this. I mean, it's not super important. It's just kind of one of those things where I was like, well, we didn't need to do that. No reason to start it. Gold's dead even right now. This is good. This is where we should be. Briar should be kind of in the jungle. Lowy should be pushing bot. You guys should be pushing mid. Top is going to naturally push because of Elder. Okay, so my one thing, I think you're doing what you need to do, but you can't be this far up. So the reasoning is you can't be this far up is your current mid lane wave state. They have the ability to all rotate over to you at this very moment, where your team can't respond as well as they could. What it should be doing, you should be about right here, playing defensively, keeping these empowered, but still playing defensively while this wave gets pushed up. This will allow you to not die, put you in a good position, because right now they should just collapse on you. And again, you are Lowy. You could do. There's the possibility of Lowy things, and your team does end up trading because the wave was close, but you went too soon. You needed to wait a little bit longer to before you could commit that hard. You needed to back off, and like I said, you need to play about right here. So you get this pushed in, right here, and you should be standing pretty much once this wave is pushed in. You should be standing about right here. You could go a little bit up past this line right here probably, but you can't be on this because they have the easy rotation with 5. Like I said, the wave is close enough that your team gets 2 turrets and an inhibitor off it, which is awesome. But if you wait a little bit longer, you can position. Let's see. You could probably even position right here, like I said. Really defensive probably here. This is probably the best one right at these cannons and defend the cannons. And then when a couple of them rotate, just moving out. I also do think that dropping a ward right here is important to see the rotation, or right here. One of those 2 spots you need to have dropped a ward. You had a free ward. It should be dropped. But it's just really hard for you to position as aggressively as you did. And you did get the turret bot, but like I said, it's one of those things where, yeah, you got stuff off it, but you absolutely did not need to die to get that stuff off of it. It could have been that you guys have backed off, they get this turret, and then, I mean, the Baron is still pretty fresh. I mean, you got, what is that, 3 more waves at least? You likely get all 3 inhibs with it all. Oh, hey, Gizmo. I didn't even see you join. Are you there, Gizmo? You're muted if you aren't.
My bad.
There you go.
Yes, I'm here.
This game was so long. Hey, Taddy. How's it going? How was work? Did you get the iPads sent out or ready to be sent out? They don't what?
They don't fucking exist.
The iPads?
Well, they're delivery tablets. Guy gave N85 gave me numbers. Those numbers do not exist inside of SOTI. Inside of SOTI, there is no Store 85 delivery tablet folder. Searching through Trackit, trying to find all work orders relating to Store 85 and tablets, I have found 4, all retaining to 1 tablet, which name does not appear in SOTI.
You're like, what is happening?
Press or serial number or IMEI, no fucking information. So tomorrow I'm going to get networking to get into the goddamn router and tell me every MAC address that's connected on Wi-Fi, and then I'm going to go through one by one to figure out which one's a wand, which one's a cell phone, and which one's a tablet. Then I can figure out which tablet it is, and then I can start troubleshooting the original issue.
There you go.
Fuck, kill me, who doesn't keep records, whoever worked before me 3 years ago. Fuck you. No goddamn records.
I do think here too, this is the same concept for Alawi. You can't be this pushed up with where your wave states are. Your team has no response. You even got a kill on a Kali here, but you just can't. And then we shouldn't have TP'd. Alright, let's get chased down. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing is just understanding the wave states and when you should be, when you can pressure, when you can't. You just trade native bid, which is good, and then you leafs. Yeah, you guys can't contest the soul, unfortunately. I do have some notes for you, Taddy. I'll ping them for you in the early laning phase.
Playing like too much for pussy. I wasn't taking advantage of a lot of windows.
Oh, there you go.
I missed an incredible amount of CS. I want to say I was at least 20 that I could count before the laning phase. They were easy grabs that were just missing. But I'm guessing that's what I did.
Most of it was just, I think there's some advantages and things like that that you were not.
There was a lot of time you could see it. A couple times I was stance dancing correctly and harassing when they would go for minions, but I was not doing it as effectively as I should have.
Yeah.
Or efficiently. But I blame that on me not having 30 games on Jinx like I used to.
Yeah. I think this is weird to TP to this. I don't know why we're TPing. Just either get the Baron and reset, or like the Jax is gonna get this anyways. I think you TPing from the fight is bad for your team. Good news is they get Baron. I hate that health bar doesn't show. That's kind of annoying.
Spectating has been
Buggy, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that on the grubs too.
Grubs it shows every once in a while. That one's a hit and miss. I think Baron's been like the consistently
Consistently missing, yeah.
Yep.
So I think it was a good reaction to get the Baron, but you guys, I do think the Alawi TP was another TP that was really wasted. I don't know what the call was, Taddy. Do you remember?
Wait, where are we at? Sorry, I was messing.
We're at like 40 minutes. Game's over in about 3 minutes. But we were on Baron, and Jax showed bot to like try and kill the inhib, and instead of just resetting for it and saving TP, allow a TP to this way to the turret right here.
I think that was just a panic thing because I think it was like indecisiveness of like, do we really commit hard for this and then group as a team and go back to it, or do we split and have Alawi go deal with it?
You guys could have. I think you guys reset because get it. But
we could have just killed it and gone over there and stopped him because I don't think he would have gotten maybe half health to a Nexus tower, but that would have been about it. But that's hindsight. In the moment, I think we were worried about Jax literally ending the fucking game while we were at Baron.
sure. I think you guys get just a good fight here. I like your position here where you're sitting back. Alawi does.
I had already gotten ass fucked by fucking.
And you start getting resets, which is good.
I shouldn't have chased here. I should have left.
And I think it's fine. Just to make sure that the game's over.
Unnecessary though. I think it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
On the inhibitor, I think we did better. Maybe drop the traps here, and then I should have just been running backward and trying to fight this.
Yeah, I don't think it's either way. It's a big deal. At this point, you guys had won the game.
Well, we won the game when you locked me in on an 80 carry, so.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Briar's alone there, she gets killed.
She might, but it stops. I think it stops the back and stuff. Is what he's talking about.
No, she has enough time to kill and back here, and LFGA up. Assuming that their Kali doesn't just sprint it down while he's gonna be there, then they can maybe ult 2v5.
I don't think they can, but either way, I don't think it's a bad play, Teddy.
It could have been more.
It could have. Okay, I need to go grab something from the store really quick for my wife, and then I'm gonna come back and do